Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Mr. Holmes, what is the trouble with that lad? Isn't he guilty of murder?
How the fuck is Lestrade in the position that he's in? That guy is the fucking chief of police. Inspector, whatever, I don't know. He's in a position of fucking power. And I don't know, he just... I'm not saying it's like a problem I have with the game or anything. I'm just like, what the fuck? Is this guy like retarded? Like, how did he get into his job? Alright, whatever. Anyway.
A cheap watch. Bought with his own money, no doubt.
Is that an apple?
These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting. So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder.
Ah.
2 out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots.
Interesting. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at deductions. Alright, so we have something new. Okay, so Leighton's revolver. Different shots, alright. God damn it. Alright, simultaneous shots. Turner could hear the contrast between 2 fired shots, as in fact 3 shots were made. At first a single shot was fired, and then 2 guns fired simultaneously directly afterwards, or Turner could hear the contrast between 2 fired shots, as they were made from different points in Half Moon Street. Well, clearly, I'm gonna go with this one because it has a thing there, so we'll do that. Comment statement, lootless? No? Alright, comment statement, Leighton Chapman is the only person who was seen entering Half Moon Street after Brian Vercotti, and Kenneth Butler. He was seen standing over the dead bodies and escaping the crime scene shortly afterward. I meant to actually click the other one, but alright. Compelling evidence. The witness testimonies and the crime weapon clearly point to one possible culprit, Leighton Chapman. I doubt it. It seems a little bit too obvious. Alright. Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti were victims of a double murder carried out by one person. No. Alright, fine. Alright, so we have some conflicting deductions here, so we'll have to deal with that later, but I mean, it's just, it's not even necessarily going into it going like, I just don't believe Leighton did it. It's more so, well, I mean, it's the beginning of the case, and everybody is condemning him as the killer. This is a game, it's too simple, so he's definitely not the killer. Or, not necessarily definitely not the killer, but I doubt it.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Alright, first things first, we got 4 things to deduce from this man. Really bad scar. So he was in occasional fights, grew up on the street. That looks a little bit more fresh. Oh yeah, Wiggins said he got a good beating, so that's probably where that's from. Yeah, recent beating, resisted arrest. He's a hothead. So he's an office clerk. Huh. Oh, that's that prison tattoo. Yep. Huh. So he was a former prisoner, but now he's an office clerk. He's dressed decently. He doesn't look like shit. I'm guessing probably a former ruffian or something like that who's cleaning up his life. I'm making the call.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw two men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand, though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash.
It was Jesus.
It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man. Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps it's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Oh. Oh, Westgate prisoners. Ah, I gotcha.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
Tattoo.
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
Oh, God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
I know I'm right. I'm a fucking genius.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
Now, you were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vicotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Okay, Leighton Chapman is in his 20s and is Wiggins's older brother. Growing up on the streets and being a hot-headed lad, he committed a crime for which he served time in Westgate Prison. He's currently detached from his past street life and is probably working somewhere as an office clerk. So I was right on the money with my assertion that he is trying to clean his life up. There's a possible crossfire between Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti at Half Moon Street. Examine the dead bodies and perform a reenactment with a gun, I guess. All right. New deductions. All right. Leighton's statement. No? Really? Okay, hold on. Leighton Chapman stated that he saw a person leaning over a dead body just as he entered the scene. Leighton took a gun from the body and set off in pursuit of the man, but he was blinded by a flash of bright light. 2 victims. No, seriously? Oh, common statement. Alright, whatever. The person whom Leighton Chapman describes in his statement is a figment of his own imagination created to vindicate himself. Well, I don't believe that. Old acquaintance. 2 victims? Seriously? It's always the one that I don't think it would be. I should read the taglines more, but still. The violent crime committed in Half Moon Street by Leighton Chapman could have had a personal motive. Doubt it. Yeah, okay. Alright, so that's all we got right now. Let's see. Should I go... I'm trying to think. Which one should I do first? Have the antique bracelet. Let's go to Baker Street first, then we'll perform the reenactment. Search for bracelet. Okay, so an antique golden bracelet that was found in Mr. Turner's flat. It is decorated with distinctive ram heads. So obviously it's not going to be chemistry, poison toxins, injuries, criminalistics, martial arts, marks and symbols, maybe. I'm not seeing anything on that. Maybe I need to go to the encyclopedia. I was about to call it the thesaurus. Art and architecture, maybe?
That is not the one I need.
Maybe a British museum? Alright, here we are. These beautiful antique jewels represent a part of the Hellenistic Treasures collection. Depicted are the 5 heads of mountain rams upon a bracelet, necklace, and ring, each made of pure gold. The 5 rams of Mytilene have been missing from the museum since 1885.
Here it is. I need to continue my research in my archives.
Okay. Okay, so go to 1885 in the newspapers, I guess. A part of an ancient jewel that's set, a jewel set that belongs to the Hellenistic Treasures collection. They have been missing from the museum since 1885. The Hellenistic treasures were stolen yesterday evening while being transported by cab on their way from the British Museum to the Glassford Fine Art Exhibition. Pawn shop owner Kenneth Butler contacted Scotland Yard that night and provided information regarding a gentleman who had attempted to sell him a collection of historical art at his pawn shop in Church Street. The police have since captured the described man, a professional thief by the name of Vincent Foley, who had been in the process of escaping London via the port. He was recognized by the surviving driver of the cab that had transported the collection of Hellenistic treasures. Vincent Foley refused to confess as to where the remainder of the treasures were hidden. He was eventually imprisoned. The lost treasures are still to be found.
Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Fuck it, why not? Let's go to the pawn shop. Okay. I like the environments this game makes. Obviously, they're incredibly linear and, you know, they're a set piece, I suppose, but they're still very detailed and I enjoy them, you know? Hey, is that the guy from the first case? Cairns, I think was his name? Really looks like him. I like that music. Or more so, I like the environment that it's building. I wish I could go in there. I like that. Really sets the mood. Here?
The door is locked, but I won't try to pick it. There are people directly behind me.
Yeah, and I have that key from, not Vercotti, but the other guy.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
Alright. Check this part first. Ooh, what's this?
Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer.
Alright, so I'll probably have to come back for that stuff. I'm kind of wishing I went to the Half Moon Street now.
A flare pistol. Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute sailor.
Shit, 2 objects of interest in the same place. Wow. Is there anything else?
It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
Alright, this drawer.
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 Rams of Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
Interesting. So now I possess 3 of the 5 rams currently. Anti-golden necklace with 2 rams. Oh, that has 2? Alright, so never mind. I have 4. So there's one more somewhere. Found at Kenneth Butler's pawn shop. I don't know why that's there, but okay. Hello, Kenneth. I remember you once told me about 3 pieces of golden jewelry with ram heads from ancient Greece. You still got them, right? Well, good news for you. I've found a man loaded with money who's crazy about those jewels. He's ready to fork out a small fortune. I can arrange a meeting with this money bag for you, but I want you to cut me in on the deal. I'll be waiting for you at the crossing of Great Alley and Half Moon Street on Sunday evening, therefore, before the fireworks. So, apparently, Vercotti, contacted, Butler. I think it was Butler. Contacted him, and Butler already possessed 4 of the rams, and there was only 1 left somewhere. We don't know where. But apparently Vercotti had some sort of connection to a third party that we are unaware of at the moment who was interested in the rams, and he could be our killer. Only thing is that the rams were still in his possession, so I don't get that. Butler's jewels. No. The search for the missing Hellenistic treasures could be the motive for the crime that was committed in Half Moon Street. Mr. Turner picked up the bracelet directly after the murder, but the ring is still missing. And personal motive. The violent crime committed in Half Moon Street by Leighton Chapman could have had a personal motive. I don't know. Why wouldn't he have searched his body? I'm still going to go with burglary motive, just because of that information we just came across, but I'm not sticking to it. Long lost art. The collection of Hellenistic treasures was stolen from the British Museum in 1885. It has not been found since then and is considered to be lost. I don't think that's going to work for either of those, but we'll try it. Didn't think so. Alright. So now that we have that, we can head back to Half Moon Street. and perform our little experiment.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Damn, dude, that's a little harsh. Shit. Okay, one of the victims possibly fired his gun twice. Find out who it might have been. Huh. I don't know, both of them only had one shot. This guy got shot in the stomach, and he died a very slow and painful death. This guy got shot in the head, and... well, I mean, that was pretty instantaneous. So there's 2 gunshots, which indicates that the second one, well, the first one probably missed. Here's the thing, is if this guy shot him, that means he shot him in the head, or shot him... well, yeah, okay, so he shot him in the head, and then the other shot went out down this way, most likely. He would have fucking noticed that. And he... then again, he did say one shot sounded... well, he said one shot sounded louder than the other, but that doesn't mean anything. There's no indication that anything is structurally damaged over here. On the other hand, this side, nobody would be able to vouch for anything because there's nobody living right there. I mean, they're probably... you get what I mean. So I'm going to go with this guy as the gunman. Alright. Wow, that is almost a dick shot. You're a fucking asshole. That having been said, I really don't understand why... whatever. I was going to say, I don't understand why he would shoot for Cotty, though. Why would he shoot for Cotty? Like, I don't see the motive behind that. Whatever.
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
That... oh, yeah. Object of interest. Right here.
This should be useful.
Okay. A long pole with a forked end. Should work. Oh, there we are.
This is most definitely a bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh. Watson, there was a 3rd shot fired in this street.
Okay, so Cotty was killed by Butler, and Butler was killed by somebody else. Not sure who, though. Don't have anything new on that, but we have a new deduction. Alright, so there's a 3rd shot, the 2 victims. Okay, so Kenneth Butler and Brian Vercotti both died of Crossfire, with each of them holding a gun. One of the guns is now missing. Really? Alright, maybe I misinterpreted exactly what the situation was. Alright, Leighton Chapman's statement regarding the jacketed man who disappeared at Half Moon Street now seems reasonable, as the 3 shots at the crime scene prove the presence of a 2nd gun that is now missing. No, yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, so we have something new, apparently. New objective. Talk to Constable Marrow and find out if it would have been possible to miss someone hiding in the shadows of Half Moon Street at the time of the crime. Alright, where are you, Marrow? There you are.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Am I playing as Marrow? Yeah, okay. So I gotta find Sherlock in that case. Ah, there he is.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Keep looking for him. There you are, you motherfucker.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Gotta recheck these spots. Are you there? Nope. Okay. Thought he might have been right there. Did I? Okay, no, never mind. Where are you, you motherfucker? That one's not tricky at all. That was very easy.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
Interesting. Okay, corners in sight. No one could hide in the shadows of Half Moon, as a single run through this narrow street with a lamp could reveal its every corner. I don't see how that would work. Really? With Leighton's statement? Alright. If we can assume that there was one more person in Half Moon Street at the time of the crime, then there was no way forward or back for his escape, only up. Let us reenact the action, recreate the fireworks described by Leighton, and attempt to climb the wall. Climb up the walls. Oh, wait. Back at the pawn shop, there were some items in which I could use to climb. And also, there's the flare gun, which will probably represent the fireworks. Awesome. Okay, well, then we need to go back to the pawn shop.